Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Louisa. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, and if you're returning, hey, how's it going? So today is a bit of a departure from my usual content. Today I'm going to talk about a dream that I had about 10 years ago, and I had no idea what it meant. I couldn't find anyone else who knew what it meant. It was kind of a gigantic mystery for a while, but for some reason, I remembered it. And even though I was in the New Age before and I practiced mediumship and divination and things like that, I never actually got into the practice of things like lucid dreaming. I kind of enjoyed my sleep. I didn't really want anything messing with my slumber because I like sleeping. So it's kind of rare for me to actually have a dream that I remember. And I'm pretty sure most of my dream content is basically brain farts. But obviously, every once in a while, there is an exception to the rule. And this is probably like one of maybe a handful of dreams that I've had throughout my life that were actually kind of important. Now, deciphering it, that was a bit of a mission. Basically, I didn't have any understanding of what it meant until recently. In the last 6 months, I converted back to Christianity from the New Age, but I had a very long period of time, about 10 years, where I was basically agnostic. And if anyone asked me what my religious persuasion was, I would probably say lapsed Anglican. So that's when I had the dream, was when I was not particularly spiritual in any respect. I was neither Christian nor New Age nor pagan or anything. Okay, so the dream starts out as though I'm watching a movie, and unlike a lot of dreams where you don't particularly realize that you're in a dream, or there's just really random stuff that somehow makes sense at the time, it wasn't like that. It was like watching something happen. Watching something that I couldn't logically explain. Even in the dream, I couldn't explain it. And I was very aware of the fact that I was watching something unfold. So I wasn't part of the dream, I wasn't in the dream, I was watching. The opening scene was a snowy landscape, and a group of people come trudging up a small hill through the snow, and they've got picnic supplies with them. They've got blankets, they've got picnic baskets, they're all dressed in fluffy coats. Most of them are dressed in brown or black, and there's one woman who has a bright blue, kind of like a sky blue cloak, and it's lined with white. So the woman really stands out from the crowd, and as I said at the time, I have no idea what this means, but I'm just watching it happen. I am aware in the dream that it's very strange for people to go out for a picnic in the snow, like in the middle of winter, to go and sit on ice and snow and eat food. I can also see in the dream that they are very much dressed like Russians. They look like they are in 1800s Russia. Anyway, the group gets to their destination, and it's basically this fenced area. So it's fenced with barbed wire, and there are Russian soldiers, so you know, the traditional kind of old school ones that had the long dress frock coats and the hats. You know the hats. I will find a picture of the hat and put it there. But there's all these soldiers around the outside of the fenced area, and they're not really doing anything aggressive. They're just pacing. They do have guns, but they're not pointing their guns. Their guns are kind of pointing downwards, like at rest kind of thing. So there's soldiers pacing up and down the perimeter of the fenced area with rifles in their hands, but they're pointed down at the ground, and they're all quite relaxed, even though they are minding the perimeter. Anyway, the group of people settle down on their blankets and their rugs, and they open up their picnic baskets and they start having a picnic in the snow, surrounded by barbed wire and soldiers. And it's almost like they can't see what's around them. Like they're not particularly aware of it, or if they are aware of it, they're not worried by it. So as I'm watching them have their picnic, all of a sudden it starts raining bullets. And I mean, it's not like someone is firing. No one is firing any guns. The soldiers do not respond whatsoever to rain of bullets. And the people having the picnic don't really respond either. They just die. So it rains down on them with these bullets. They all very quietly die. And then I wake up. So you can see why this dream has kind of stuck with me, because none of that made sense. And of course with dreams, it's very easy to just kind of write it off as brain malfunctioning. Most of the time I would say that that's accurate, but for some reason this one seemed different. So at the time I think I told the dream to friends, but no one really had any idea what it meant. It didn't seem to mean anything, so I just kind of forgot about it for a while. And then years later, I had joined the group of mediums that I'm pretty sure I've talked about before in videos. I was trying to figure out why I could see things and what it was that I was seeing. And yeah, now I know. But during our group sessions, one of the guys there, he said, I interpret dreams. And I was like, fantastic. Maybe you can riddle me this. So I told him the dream and I was like, what do you think? And you know when you see people get scared? Like when you're saying something to someone and fear just comes across their face and it's like, why are you scared? I don't understand. And so I have no idea why he was scared, but he seemed to be unable to interpret the dream. So maybe that was why, because like I kind of threw him a curveball and so he was like, oh, But it seemed more than that. It seemed like he was actually scared of the contents of the dream, which is weird because like I didn't find the dream pleasant, but I wasn't necessarily freaked out by it. So his best guess at the time was, is it about sex? And I was like, no dude, it's not about sex. But bullets could be about penetration. Do you have issues around penises? And I was like, no, I don't have issues about penises. I am not dreaming about dicks falling from the sky, okay? This is something else. Like, not everything is about your junk. So that was about as far as I got with like psychics. Basically, they have no idea. So I just kind of assumed that I would never really understand what the dream meant, and I kind of let it go. And then 2020 arrived. 2020. The year that basically ripped down the curtain. And suddenly there were things about that dream that kind of fell into place for me. And I think I know what it means now. Okay, so I'm going to read Revelation chapter 8. When he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. Then another angel, having a golden censer, came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints ascended before God from the angel's hand. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it to the earth. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake. So the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, And hail and fire followed, mingled with blood, and they were thrown to the earth. And a third of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. Then the second angel sounded, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood, and a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. Then the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water because it was made bitter. So, in my learning about eschatology, which is a fancy name for end of days, in my research about eschatology, I've come across a number of different people on YouTube, and mind you, there are a ton of prophecy channels out there, and most of them are crap. You can kind of tell like the real prophecy channels from the fake ones, because the fake ones will be all about like politics and like celebrity goings on and economic goings on, and that stuff kind of matters, but really the thing that we need to be watching out for is the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. And sure, it's all interrelated in a way, but a lot of those things, like the political wranglings and stuff, that's like distraction. Something happened this week that was very interesting. So it was my birthday, and for my birthday we had an asteroid. Around the 5th and 6th of March this year, 2021, we had the first flyby of an asteroid called Apophis. And it also happened to coincide with the Pope visiting a ziggurat in Iraq. And if you don't know what that means, it means he was visiting an ancient Babylonian temple to various different gods. It was touted as an interfaith prayer vigil, and it was supposed to bring people together, but I think was more like worshipping various different deities together. There's something about Francis that even the Catholics know is not quite right. And it could have something to do with his Jesuit background, because the Jesuits are the astronomers. They're the part of the Catholic Church that actually look to the skies, and that's why, like, Francis has been saying, oh, if aliens exist, I'll baptize them. And like a lot of Christians are like, if aliens exist, they're probably demonic. A lot of the alien researchers have come to the conclusion that they're not dealing with extraterrestrials, they're dealing with interdimensionals. And that is significantly different. So there is a whole minefield of stuff there. But it kind of seemed like the dream that I had was very similar to dreams that a lot of other people have been having over the last 5 to 10 years, where they're getting signs that judgment is coming. Some people have had rapture dreams, other people have had asteroid dreams, and so I think this dream fits into that category. And I don't know if the soldiers and the fence have something to do with the angelic realm kind of just watching on and containing the perimeter. It kind of seemed like the message was that it doesn't matter how wealthy, privileged, how much security you have, how nicely dressed you are, what sorts of things you do with your time. It seemed like the message was that that is not going to save you. It didn't save the Russian elites when rebellion and revolution came to their doorstep, and it's unlikely to insulate people from this. So the message is to learn more about the real Jesus, Yeshua, or Adonai, because the judgment from the heavens is likely to be in the form of multiple asteroids by the sounds of it. Like a great mountain thrown into the sea, and then another burning hunk of rock taking out all of the fresh water, and a series of smaller ones burning up all the trees and the grass. It sounds like it's going to be a series of catastrophic asteroid hits, meteorite hits, that kind of thing. Basically bullets raining down. And the thing about the Apophis asteroid is that it's going to have a couple of close encounters with Earth. The next one is going to be in 2029, and yeah, a few others after that. As I said in my previous video, we are going through the book of Revelation. We are talking about all of the various symbolism in it. And so the next project that I want to get on top of is working out the timeline of where everything fits in the schedule. Because if we can figure out what is coming and when, then we can figure out when to be ready. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will keep you updated on all the things that I hear and all the things that I learn as I'm going. By the way, if you have any of your own dreams that you want to share in the comments, or if you have any particular insights about the dream that I just talked about, feel free to leave your opinion down below. I am very curious to hear what people make of that one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.